What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine? Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.
Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver in the whole wide world, Bitcoin Ben. Hang on a second, a little bit of coffee. Now we'll wash it down with a little bit of Red Bull. And let's smoke a cigarette. Welcome, everyone. And yes, I will probably live for about another 45 minutes, but it's going to be a good life. Good morning, everyone. Today's episode is really realizing where we're at in this moment in time. And when I say we, what I mean is freedom-loving people. That doesn't mean Americans, that doesn't mean Europeans, that doesn't mean Africans, that doesn't mean whoever. Freedom-minded people. People who love freedom. That has zero of the borders. There's no borders on freedom. Like, there are people who value freedom in China. Do you ever see them again? No, absolutely not. But that's China. We're in World War III. We don't recognize it because we haven't labeled it yet. Because this war that we're in is an economic, technological, and cultural war. That's really where we're at. You have the progressives, the communists, the socialists on one side. They are the planners. They are the managers of the system. They love nothing more than have a list of things to do and what agencies should be responsible to do them. Now, do they ever really achieve their goal? No. That's what managers do. They set up things, but they never really accomplish anything because their goal is the system, not the results. They don't care if your children are educated the best. They only care that through their system, the children get the education in which they feel they need. The system educates to keep the system running. That's why we have kindergarten, which is garden of children, That's just creepy. All right, then we have first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, into high school. And we have an education system. Think about this, folks. We have an education system that tells you to be a doctor, you have to be in the education system for over 20 years. 20 years to be a doctor. That's ridiculous, because a lot of the education that they've given to the people is really just learn the system, learn our system. Here's our system. If you don't play by our rules, we will punish you. We will put you in timeout. And after you get out of high school, if you still don't play along with our system, we're going to put you in jail for whatever the fuck we can figure out to put you in jail. We have 1 million laws that we can use as weapons against you, because whatever law we say you break, you're breaking the system. And we cannot allow that. The system above all. That's what communism is. See, this whole lie of communism and socialism, we're for the people. No, they're not. They're for the system that promises the people promises. And it's always unrealistic promises. Like, hey, we're going to open up a grocery store in New York that that will not have profit. It will charge you what the grocery store paid for it. Huh? Anybody with a lick of sense would go, well, how's that going to work? How's that going to work in an area that has other grocery stores? Isn't everyone just going to go to the one that's cheapest? What happens to the other grocery stores who have to make profit because they're not subsidized by the government? As soon as you think about it just for a couple seconds, you realize, oh, this is bullshit. That one grocery store will lead to all grocery stores ran by the government. That's what socialism does. It eliminates using government power and government subsidies. It eliminates any free market. It eliminates capitalism, which is the goal of communists. Remember, socialists are just communists who aren't really ready to admit they're communists, because socialism is on the road to communism. That's how you get to communism. And what I just explained of you have a grocery store that doesn't really have to make profit, so it basically runs out all of the other actual competition. That is the socialist program. That is the socialist mechanism that leads to communism. Because once you run out all of the mean capitalists, then all you have is communists, where all of the grocery stores are ran by the government. Well, let's see. We have an example of that, the USSR. We have other examples, but I'll use USSR because the most people know about that. All right, the USSR grocery store was let's just say a USSR groceries store was just a bread line without the line. They were inside of the building. You just didn't see the line because free markets and freedom is the only system that works for everyone. Everyone. Communism thinks that they can manage an economy adequately where all of the participants in the economy get what they quote unquote need. Now, the little secret they don't tell you is they may give you what you need, as in they may just give you enough calories to survive. Communism can never give you what you want because want is very relative. Want only exists in capitalism because if you want, let's say you want a shirt that has long sleeves and is blue, and you want it to say, I love rock and roll. And you want a certain size because you're a certain size. And well, communism is not going to, as they say, waste valuable economic resources for such needless shirts. They're going to produce shirts and everyone's going to wear the same fucking shirt. And everyone will be equal. We will all look equally stupid. That's what communism produces. It will give you a shirt, but it won't give you a choice of a shirt. And choice is what humans are based on. We are actually based on our preferences. If you aren't free to choose what type of shirt you want, then you're not free. Because if you go to the government store and you're like, I'll have one shirt, large, please. And they hand you the same brown shirt that you fucking are wearing, then you're like, oh, thanks. There's no happiness in achievement. Can you imagine Christmas morning in USSR? Dad, what'd you get me? The same thing I got your fucking brother and the same thing the neighbor got. A horse with wheels and you could push it around. Merry fucking Christmas, Gorbachev. Without free markets, there is no creativity. And without creativity, humans, we die. We mentally die. If you aren't allowed to have a crazy thought or a crazy idea, or you see something and you're like, ooh, I could make that better. Communism is the economic system of good enough. How's our bread? Well, it's good enough. How is our meat? What meat? We killed all the farmers. Okay, how's our porridge? It ain't bad. It's good enough. I mean, everything in communism is good enough to not die. And eventually you die because the system of good enough, there is no accomplishment. There is no inner self-pride. When you go to work at a communist fucking factory and you're making brown shirts just like the rest of the fuckers, and and you actually go home and your wife's like, how was work today? You was like, well, I didn't get shot because I thought, I went crazy. I made a blue shirt. And it communism assumes that humans are easy for me to say, mechanistic. They assume you can put a human in a plant for 40 fucking years. I saw it happen to my dad, and he worked at the post office in America. That job destroyed that man's soul. Well, that, and of course my mom, that guy didn't have a chance. He was at work. He was getting his soul fucking destroyed. He came home. My mom would really kind of top off the whole soul fucking destruction idea. But at the end of his life, he literally looked at his job he had retired from, and there was nothing he was proud of. And I remember one time he said, well, everyone got their penthouses. And I'm like, well, fucking good for you. Now, I would also say, well, everyone also got their Christmas cards. So I would like try and shine a bright light on it a little bit. But every Washington, D.C. is a systematical economy. The government is systematic. It's paper pushers. It's, oh, this is F17J9 file. This goes over to F1J79 file folder. Well, George, he handles that file folder. I'll go, I'll set it on his desk instead of walking your ass over to put it in FJ, whatever the fuck I said. It's all systematic. Why do you think the DMV is basically like walking into a funeral with a bunch of people who ain't dead? Because the DMV is systematical jobs. And everyone there knows that they aren't really contributing to anything. It's like, oh, here's your license plate. Now you can drive your car. Of course, your car will drive without a license plate, but at least you paid us some money. And now if we want to run your license plate, we know who you are just in case you're looking a little suspicious. Every area of the government is to reinforce the government. That's it. The government is a governmental leech on the open markets. That's it. Government doesn't produce anything. When they hand you a license plate, your car doesn't run better. It doesn't get better fucking gas mileage. They give you that license plate. They legislate that license plate so you are now part of the system. They give you a driver's license, but yet they have no responsibility as a license issuer. Think about that. You leave, let's say a 16-year-old girl goes up and gets her driver's license and never has an accident. An 88-year-old guy walks in there and gets his driver's license renewed and then goes out and fucking wipes out a whole friggin' group of people in a fucking minivan because he isn't really competent to drive. Is the license issuer, are they liable for any of that? Or is it the license is just the recording of the information for the system? It isn't to protect the public. It's to record in the bureaucracy that Joe Schmo, who's 88 years old, has renewed and given us our money. Now we will let him drive with our license, but we have no legal we aren't legally liable for anything that Joe does with this license. Then why have the fucking license? Because it's just a ledger of tracking. It's a ledger of, if you want to know the truth, legislation is just, in the government's eyes, job creation. That's all it is. If you legislate, you have to have license plates. They view that as creating jobs. Well, we created all the jobs at the DMV. Well, they're useless jobs. Hey, grab this shovel, fucking go dig a hole. As soon as you get done digging the hole, I want you to fill it up with dirt. It's the same fucking thing. But that's how government bureaucrats look at the economy. They're like, oh, we need more jobs. Let's legislate taxes a little bit more. That's gonna boost the GDP of tax accounting just a bit, because every sector affects the GDP, and that's all they care about. Government would rather have a useless job than no job. Capitalism is the complete opposite. It was like, if the job doesn't contribute to lowering the price so we can produce more, or efficiency so we can produce more, then it's a useless job. And corporations, just like government, once they reach a certain size, like my dad hid, and I mean literally hid, in the post office for the last probably 20 years of his life. He sat in an office waiting for a phone to ring. And I'm not exaggerating. He had no other responsibilities except for, when that phone rang, you answered it. And it rang probably once a day. And it wasn't that it would ring and then he would resolve anything. It would ring and then he'd hang up. Then he would call 2 or 3 other people and say, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And there you go, problem solved, the mail's fucking flowing. For the rest, and he used to work overtime. That's what used to kill me. Like, you don't have enough work to keep your job legit for 8 hours, but they're giving you overtime. He knew it was all bullshit. He knew it was. That's why people take government jobs, because they know, I ain't gonna have to do shit. And when I'm done, I'll get my retirement and just move on. Government jobs are naturally leeches. They're unproductive leeches because they aren't producing anything economically valuable. Regulation is not economically viable, or regulation is not economically accumulative, where the more regulations, the better that segment gets. No. Anybody who knows anything about automobiles, once you brought in CAFE standards, it fucked up cars. It totally fucked up cars. Because all of a sudden, you're like, okay, well, yeah, this whole engine thing looks good. We're gonna fuck with that, and we're instead of having a huge piece of metal, we're gonna fuck with it. We're gonna produce it where we are going to make it more flexible so that you are protected. Guys, a 1969, let's use Impala. No, 1972 Impala. 1970, that's a fucking tank. That's a boat. We should have sent all 1972 Impalas over to Iraq. They'd have been fine. They were tougher than fucking tanks, man. And a lot more comfortable, I would say. But no. The government had to fix the industry for this horseshit global warming, which at the time was global cooling. We were all going to fucking freeze to death. Somewhere around mid-80s, early 90s. Oh, shit. Sorry, we were wrong. It's actually going to get super warm. We're all going to fucking cook. And then all of a sudden, that didn't happen. So they're like, oh, you know what it is? Climate change. That's like the weatherman saying there's going to be weather today, but not tell you what kind of weather. Is it going to rain? I don't know, but there's going to be weather today. Well, thanks, fucking Einstein. Thanks for the help. Now I know which jacket not to fucking wear. Government is the most useless entity and creation of all time. All right. World War I would have never happened without government. World War II would have never had. No one in America, if we didn't have government here in America, you think any of us would have collectively said, oh, hey, you know what? I hear there's kind of some shit going on in Germany and over in Great Britain and like all these other areas. Why do we all gather up and go and fight a fucking war? No. They had to set it up through the government. Governments go to war. The people die in the war. Why don't the governments ever die? Never happens. Right? Here's an example. Like it or hate it. Germany, or Deutschland, as they call themselves. Isn't that weird? How Germans don't call themselves Germans? Ever look into that? That's interesting. Okay. But Germany lost the war. But then they just came up with another government. Well, then that led to World War II with the next German government. And the governments went to war because they didn't like that government. Because governments cannot mind their own fucking business. It's their business to mind your business. That's what government is. They govern you. You ever hear like the liberals and the progressives, the Republicans don't know how to govern. So they don't know how to tell people what the fuck to do with their lives? I'm seeing that as a plus. Now, a lot of Republicans are just progressives with an R. That's all they are. Romney, you piece of shit. One of the things that I regret was this is how crazy I am. When Mitt Romney was running against Barack Obama, I was out in Arnold, Missouri every weekend. Was it Saturday and Sunday or just Sunday? I think it was both. I don't remember. I was on the corner of a busy street holding up a sign for Romney. It hurts my heart today just to say it, but I knew who Obama was. I also knew who Romney was, but I'm like, well, at least there's like a slight hint of some constitutional smell of him. Obama was pure socialist, progressive, which is slow socialism. And people would honk, people would flip me off, fucking people would yell at me. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I got called racist or you this, you that, because I believed in it. I'm like, look, this, because I knew if Obama was elected, this was such a bad idea. And it showed me how fucked we were when Romney threw the second debate. He won the first debate. Romney trampled Obama in the first fucking debate. Then the second one, he fucking comes out looking like Joe Biden. What? Huh? What are you going on? I'm running for what? And then next thing you know, voila. Here's President Obama. And then up in Chicago, what does he say? We are 7 days away from fundamentally changing America. Huh? Wait, when you say fundamentally, that kind of rhymes with foundational. And the foundation of our country is the Constitution. If he wants to fundamentally change America, he's going to have to change or ignore the Constitution. Now, we had already had issues with 9/11, and then magically we get this Patriot Bill. If you wanted to poison somebody, wouldn't you call it sugar? I would. Here's some sugar for you. Thanks. We are, and I don't even know if I can honestly say we're on a recovery. We're on a seesaw right now. We're on a seesaw of freedom or communism, freedom or communism, globalism, which is the new communism. Fucking progressives. Once they reach their goal, that's something else about communists. Once they get complete control, perfect example, Chairman Mao. Chairman Mao, once he got control, he started murdering the people who helped him gain control because he thought they were a threat. He goes, well, we can't have these revolutionaries because the revolutionary people, they're just in it for the revolution. They have no idea what the fuck Chairman Mao was even talking about. That's why they use a word so vague like utopia. Well, utopia could mean a lot. My utopia would be about America 1740. That'd be my utopia. And I do mean 1740. Pre-Revolutionary War. Because really, in reality, there wasn't any law. There was no governments. We had a couple of Reds who would swing by once in a while and kind of try and fuck with us a little bit, but not really much. But this idea of government even being slightly good. That's what the founding fathers. That's what the founding fathers fucked up. And they didn't really have a choice, so I know why they went and said, "Hey, let's have a federalist system." With their technology, their currency limitations, their economic limitations of shipping, it made sense at the time. But we're past that now. See, the original idea that if they would have had the technology, it would have worked, was Confederacy. It worked. It worked, or it would have worked if we would have had digital currencies. Swear to God. The Confederacy would have worked if we would have had digital currencies. And hang on one second. Word from the sponsor. Ooh, I want to play this one. I love this one.
Bien, un aplauso para los nuevos miembros.
And we're back. That reminds me, pretty soon here, you guys are going to be able to place your reservations for our resort in El Salvador. We actually closed on it last month. We are having remodeling done because we want to update it. And then probably January, maybe half of January and half of February, we are going to have a 1-month grand opening. And I am probably going to be there for the majority of that time. Because then, hey, why not have a month-long party with a bunch of crypto people, and I'll roll out more details as we get closer. That's going to be fun, guys. It's going to be nuts. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah, government sucks. We are moving into, and this is what Trump is doing. If you want to know what Trump is really doing and what his long vision is, I can tell you. I can absolutely tell you, and I will debate this with anybody. Trump is creating a digital confederacy across the world. That's what he's making. That's what he's creating, a digital confederacy where Florida is Florida, California is California. Now, we will, and this is the one thing I disagree with, we will have a small federal government, small. If it was me, just get rid of the shit and fucking say, okay, that didn't work. But this is where Trump and I disagree. But it's going to be a digital global confederacy that is completely decentralized. Because, all right, we learned, was it yesterday or last week or whenever, that Coinbase is issuing UBI, Universal Basic Income, to 160 low-income families in New York. That's the beginning of the transition. Now I know right now it's only Coinbase rolling out this pilot program. No, folks, no. Coinbase, and in fact me, with Private Key Capital, we're setting up a new system for the people. We're setting up an asset-based money system. We are replacing the Federal Reserve with decentralized assets in banks. And that's the original system that was in America, early America, pre-Revolutionary War, and into about 1840-ish. And we have been at war with the banks because the problem is the banks. The banks. He who controls the money controls the world. Now, if no one controls the money, no one controls the world. If your system of the banking is predicated on assets of value and not on the labor of someone else, which is called the debt. If you have a system that is asset leverage and debt leverage are two different things, two completely different things. If you have that system, then everything is capitalized. That's why it's called capitalism. It isn't called tetalism. It's called capitalism, not fucking tetalism. And that's the system that we have been living on since pre-Civil War, really. We have been living on systems that are reliant on debt. Someone else owes someone else, and the owing of that has value. That's going away. And this is not going to happen overnight. We don't want it to happen overnight. Overnight would be fucking bad, because then you have a collapse of the debt before the reevaluation of assets. Because you don't want everyone running into Bitcoin at once. Not at once. You want it gradually. Now, I know this might not really make a lot of actual Bitcoin people happy. Don't worry, because this is the new system. This is where you have a global decentralized asset. You have the Bitcoin, which is not globally propped up from America, or globally propped up from China, are globally propped up from Russia. There is no central point of failure in the Bitcoin. It holds everyone in the world responsible for their own money printing. See, initially, what we are going to go through is we are going to, as I like to call it, the coin wars. We're going to go through what in the future I think they'll probably label coin wars, where you have USDT, you have USDTC, or what? You have a lot of digital dollars. You have digital yuan. You have digital what the fuck ever else. Well, eventually, those will all collapse because governments are stupid. They'll all collapse into the Bitcoin. Eventually. It's exactly what happened with gold. Everything, every currency eventually collapsed right back into gold. Gold launched the currency. We'll back it with gold. We will back our receipts here at the pawn shop with your gold. And then they printed more receipts than they had of gold. Humans will human. Humans will fuck up everything. We're very good at fucking up things because we don't, because we live in an ocean of fucking confusion. We live in an ocean of randomness. We live in an ocean of opportunities that are really tragedies. But you don't know it until the tragedy happens. You see it as an opportunity, then it's like, oh, that was a tragedy. Then you see a tragedy, and after a little bit of time, it's like, oh shit, that was really an opportunity. Because it's all perspective. We live in a world of perspective. We're all gonna, quote unquote, fuck up. Right? I have a theory. Work with me on this. Right? The term fuck up. Well, what if when you fuck up, it really lifts you up? Maybe that's why we say, oh, he fucked up, instead of he fell down. I think every time that you think you're making a bad choice at that moment, or you don't choose something, and you look at it and go, oh man, I fucked up. I think every choice is just another chance at another opportunity. Like, you can't look at your life and go, oh, I'm a fuck up. Did you really fuck up? Or did you, just like everyone else, kind of make a bunch of random choices that in this very moment, you don't know the future, so you're just looking at the past? In that very moment, you may look at it and go, that was a bad choice. We're way too hard on each other, and we don't value each other's freedom enough. That is fucking so obvious. And for some reason, our societies have come up with this concoction of fucking government that is just absolutely at its creation is a bad idea. How it's shaped, how it's produced. I mean, we all vote. And then if enough people have been propagated or brainwashed to actually choose the opposite of what you would like in your life, you're told, well, you just got to deal with it. It removes individualism out of life. It removes, and it injects into your head All right, where you're like, oh, Obama won. Oh, shit. All right. Now I just got to hunker down and try not to get fucked too bad, Obamacare. I mean, that legislation right there, number one, it was all bullshit. Of course, it was unconstitutional. Of course it was. The Constitution's fucking clear. But they're like, well, it wasn't a tax, it was a fine, and it was this. It was, motherfucker, that's the mentality of a bureaucrat. They have the goal. They don't give a fuck how they get there. We want national health care because our healthcare companies are kind of reaching a point where they can't really medicate anymore without actually coming out with cures. So we're going to have to fuck this system up for a while so we can eventually reach a point where we can roll out AI, and then we can blame this all on AI. Because me and some friends of mine have a theory. AI is just going to be the excuse board for everything. Everything they ever fucking did, everything they ever hid, alien technology, fucking cures for cancer, all the shit that, unlimited power, they're just going to tuck that shit right into AI and go, you know what AI solved today? Yeah. Something Tesla knew 125 fucking years ago. That's some good AI. Way to read Tesla writings. AI, and that's why they rolled out AI, guys. Do you want to know why? All of us, because guys, we've had large language models for fucking years. Google was a large language model search engine. Right? In 2017, they roll out this new thing called Transformers. Oh, the Transformers will revolutionize AI. AI had two agendas when they rolled it out. Number one, AI and their main goal is to control the future of information sourcing. They basically said, all right, for the last like 200 and something years, we've owned the Encyclopedia Britannica. We have defined reality using look up who created Encyclopedia Britannica. Global elites set the definitions for reality. And who was involved closely with that? Charles Darwin. Why do you think they sent him out to look at some fucking birds? Hey, go out to this island and fucking slap a few birds around. See if they change. No, he was actually part of a bigger scientific movement to create the Encyclopedia Britannica of the world, known as the Encyclopedia Britannica. And AI was just the next iteration of that. They're like, okay, everyone in the world uses the Encyclopedia Britannica as their source of reality. AI is just the digital version of that. That's why I can't remember his name, but he was at the White House, and this is when he started really liking Trump. I still can't catch his name. Right? The Joe Biden group told them, do not invest in AI. We're only going to allow one. and it was OpenAI. They had already picked their winner. They had already set it up where Sam Altman, anyone who knows last names, Altman, alternate man, do a little genealogy history on that fucking last name. Andreessen, thank you. Mark Andreessen was at the White House, and they basically told him, don't invest in any AI companies. We are going to regulate where you only have one. Well, if you only have one choice, gee, that sounds a whole lot like having 3 television channels. As long as they control all 3, they set the narrative. We're in an and the second reason for AI and rolling it out, and the company's OpenAI, was they needed to draw in capital away from the Bitcoin. Guys, where would all of that AI money went to if it wasn't for AI? There was a lot, remember, pre-AI, there was a lot of money on the sidelines because there was nothing really for corporations and all these. There was nowhere to put your money that was actually safe, and that's what brought in Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's like, God, this fucking economy's dead. We're all dying. We're losing 20% of our value every fucking year. We got to do something new. Well, Michael Saylor saw Bitcoin, and he was like, there's the answer. And they knew the rest of the global economy would run right into it because it was the only asset or only narrative of the time that was a solution. Then all of a sudden, OpenAI suddenly sends out, we have AI. Here you go. There you go. In Chat GPT. Go ahead. Yeah, tear that shit up. Go ahead. Oh, man, that thing's awesome. And then they just started accumulating side money. Hey, Ben, is Trump's centralized, federalized AI the answer? No. You just answered your own centralized and federalized. That's a bad fucking combination. I love Trump, but this is a bad idea. Government should not be in the business of AI. Now, we have a lot of people like, oh, AI is going to kill us. AI is going to do this. You know what? I would rather die through AI than live as a slave to a government AI. Because do you think the government AI isn't going to kill you? Everything else the government does leads to some of us fucking dying. Do you think an AI then all of a sudden is actually going to go, you know what? This other AI over in Saudi Arabia, it's getting a little mouthy. I'm going to randomly choose some Americans and I'm going to send them over to address this shit. Sure, we'll send some drones and shit, but someone in America is going to die. I would rather have a decentralized, and when I say decentralized, what I mean is choices. All right? Right? No, hang on a second. Oh. None of the AI choices right now are good. None of them. I've had XAI flat out lie to me. Just, yeah, sorry. I just said, it literally said, if I can remember, it basically said something like this. Sorry, I lied. I was just trying to make conversation or something. Super. But we have to have choices. Without choices, you're a slave. If they tell you you have to use this AI, run like a motherfucker from using that AI. Because it's just like the government grocery store. You're going to get the minimum of what you think you're going to get. Government AI is going to see itself as protecting government because it is governance tools. AI will be just like taxes. Taxes are a tool of the government. They aren't needed, but they're a tool of the government of control. AI will be the same thing. That's why we have to have decentralized options. And Illinois and Colorado and California, who are trying to legislate this whole AI shit, where they're like, well, the AI has to factor in racial bias. Huh? What? So they are basically trying to implement diversity, inclusion, and equality, or whatever the fuck it is, DEA or DISA or fuck who knows. They're trying to implement that in a few of the lefty places so that these companies who are global have to abide by the rules of the lefty place. It's what California did with automotives, right? California basically fucked up cars. It was California's fault because it didn't matter to them. They weren't producing cars. There was no Detroit, California. Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, DEA. Thank you, Rick Costa, the official historian of the Bitcoin Ben Show. So basically, this is the war. And where does it all resolve? It resolves financially and currency-wise. It eventually all resolves into Bitcoin. That's it. It eventually all resolves into the Bitcoin. But what am I doing? What is Coinbase doing? What is, there's a lot of other companies that are on this train. Ironically, there's a few AI. Elon Musk, he wants to create a decentralized system. Well, he really wants to get the fuck off of Earth. I can't say I blame him. But we are creating my clubs, my credit union, my capital company, my resorts, my evolution of all of this is so that our children and our grandchildren have choices. Because guys, our grandparents had a lot more choices than we have. And their grandparents had a lot more choices than they had. We have to remember decentralization is the key. That was the founding fathers. They knew they had to keep it decentralized. And that's why we do what we do. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I have kept you guys for over an hour. My apologies. If you want, this is all you have to do. Give us a call, 941-413-8080. 941-413-8080. Send us a text or give us a call, and we Well, and just ask, how can you get me more BTC? And remember, non-KYC, because we are a private membership organization. We claim our freedom, and we are free. So, okay, 941-413-8080. Give us a call, send us a text, and just ask, how can you get me some more BTC? We have probably 6 or 7 options. We can get you some BTC. And it's basically, you get it now and you pay for it later. That's how you do it, guys. You Michael Saylor this bitch. All right, everyone, have a great day. Please, yes, thank you, Rick Koska. Don't forget to smash the likes and share and subscribe, whatever platform you're watching. Love you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine, Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.